Teacher knowledge and behavior is the component of the model that focuses on teachers' knowledge of students and content and on their expertise in classroom management and pedagogy. Teacher knowledge is the element of teacher knowledge and behavior that encompasses knowledge of student characteristics and teachers' in-depth content knowledge, and the blending of these to enhance learning. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. The teacher's in-depth content knowledge is evident in her comprehension of the lesson content. She has clear objectives and procedures for the lesson, and she has organized the activities to achieve a progression of well-defined learning goals. A teacher needs to understand the subject matter in order to construct a well-organized lesson and design effective learning activities.
My goal was to have the students gather some data about what was needed to survive and then bring that together and make some decisions based on that about what they felt was necessary for survival. I also am looking for them to learn some facts about the solar system and what is necessary for survival.
The process of reflection helps the teacher evaluate the effectiveness of the instructional materials she uses. She points out the tremendous advantages of the technological tools she integrates into her lesson. The LaserDisc program creates opportunities for students to take on different roles and make decisions while exploring the solar system. In addition, the Internet enables the learners to collect up-to-date information from NASA resources that are designed especially for children. This kind of reflection on instructional resources demonstrates the teacher's in-depth content knowledge.
I am using the Great Solar System Rescue, which is a Tom Snyder LaserDisc. And the reason I've used that is because it makes such good use of roles, and also the information is very good, and the students are asked to collaborate using that LaserDisc. They take different roles, they have to make decisions, they come back, and the scenarios presented, they have to solve a problem. That's what we start with. The web quest that I have designed is very much like that. They are taking different roles. Our problem is that we need to colonize somewhere in space, and they need to take a role to make decisions about what place would be best suited for colonization in space. In the WebQuest, there are several different internet sources that are used. The Great Solar System Rescue uses a LaserDisc. We have in the past used some software. I'm finding that some of the resources, especially the NASA resources for kids, is up-to-date information, it's well written at their level. So some of the software I don't think has been quite the quality that we're finding actually on the NASA sites.
The teacher's in-depth content knowledge is also evident when she talks about the new comprehension that came about as a result of teaching this lesson. In addition to her role as a science teacher, the instructor had to act as a reading teacher in order to help her students use the technology she implemented in the lesson. This was a role she had not expected to play before the lesson, and she learned something from it.
I have found that through this whole process, there have been times I've turned into a reading teacher, because when we were working with initially with the WebQuest, we were finding that technical reading is a very important thing to understand and to be able to do when using a WebQuest, because it's often the students want to click, click, click and go different places on maybe the web, but don't take the time to really read the information. So that has been another thing that has required direct instruction and some knowledge of the difference between novel type reading and content or technical type reading.
The teacher's in-depth content knowledge is again evident in the instructional strategies the teacher uses. The teacher uses the questioning method to elicit information from each group. She uses open-ended questions that allow the students to give their answers as well as explain their reasoning. As the students express their reasoning, a dialogue results that deepens the students' understanding of the basic needs for human survival.
What did your group think that was most needed for survival? Shahid, what did your group think?
Oxygen.
Your group entirely agreed that it was probably oxygen? What did you guys think?
Air.
Another aspect of the model is the tenets of democracy. And that is very much a part of this activity. The students have to collaborate to decide what they think are important features that we need to survive, and then as a class we need to come together and decide, and everybody's opinion counts, but we all need to come together to a consensus to decide what we think are our list of 10 things necessary for survival. They'll see that over and over again in this project. They will be having to make decisions about where to colonize as a group. They'll have to come together and come to consensus in that too.
The teacher demonstrates her knowledge of student characteristics by addressing her students' multiple intelligences. The students work in groups to discuss the single most important human survival need: When a conflict arises in one group, the teacher has the students think of ways to resolve the disagreement. In this way, the teacher addresses her students' interpersonal intelligence.
Sid, what do we do when we have a disagreement like in the classroom?
Vote.
That would be one way to solve it, to vote. Are you the only one saying something?
I'm saying something with him.
You're saying something with him? Have you explained why you think these things?
I'm saying that air should go first because you only can last a minute. I only can last a minute without air, but you can last 24 hours without water. That's a good point.
Okay, see, if you make your point, sometimes it'll change people's minds. Sometimes it won't, but sometimes it will.
The teacher addresses her students' sociological preferences by including a variety of different group activities. She engages the students in full class discussions, small group work, and partner work at different times in the lesson. This demonstrates the teacher's knowledge of student characteristics.